Hello everyone, Luke here. Welcome back to my MyTeam series. This time around it is round 10 of Season 1, the French Grand Prix around the circuit Paul Ricard, where hopefully we'll be able to match a similar performance. Hello everyone, Luke here once again with another round of my MyTeam series. This time it is round 10 of Season 1, the French Grand Prix around the circuit Paul Ricard, where hopefully we'll be able to match the performance of last time out in Canada. If you didn't see that episode, we managed to finish in 6th place, a 2-stop strategy and a retirement for Max Verstappen, moving us up 4 places in the final 10 laps. That means we're 9th in the championship, tied on points with Daniel Ricciardo. And you can see the Minardi Viking team just about keeping in contact with McLaren and Racing Point in the battle for 5th position. We have managed to pick up an extra sponsor as well. DSB Optics will bring in a cool $180,000 a week and $240,000 every time we finish in the points, so that could prove very useful indeed. So let's hope we can finish in the top 10 once again around France. So it is a wet qualifying then for the French Grand Prix. First wet qualifying, I think, since Zandvoort. We've only had one wet race so far this season, and that was at Vietnam, where it was heavy rain throughout the race. That was the last time we didn't score any points. There is a very slight chance of rain in this race as well at the end of the race. A bit like Canada, but probably coming a lap or two earlier than we saw at Canada. There is a possibility for rain. As you can see, we're doing pretty well through the first sector, coming up to 6th position as we're going down the Mistral Straight. Now I expect us to start tumbling down the order. I don't seem to have any straight line speed compared to a few of these other drivers, just with the way I've set up the car very deep into the chicane there. Not doing too bad so far. We're actually showing as up in 6th place. We'll have to see if we can keep that all through the final sector, or will we start dropping down the order. It looks like the two Mercedes are swapping places to see who's going to be on pole position, and you can see already dropped outside the top 10 briefly there, back into it, back outside of it. So it's going to be very interesting to see where we end up. Bowles load of understeer through there, having to go so slow through some of these corners in the final sector. Not enjoying this at all in these conditions, so this could make it very interesting indeed at the end of the race. I might need to try and get away of some of the others and get ahead at the start of the race, but it looks like we've not done too bad in qualifying. Roughly where we are most of the time, in that sort of midfield pack. We've ended up in 12th position, so fairly happy with that, to be honest. First sector I was supreme, second and third sector is where I seem to lose all of the time.
We're all ready for tomorrow's race, but before we begin, let's have a quick look at those who will be fronting the grid. Bottas, Vettel and Lewis Hamilton. Well, that wraps up qualifying, but don't worry, we'll be back tomorrow as we head into the Grand Prix.
I'm surprised Dorian is that far down the order, to be honest, because normally the home drivers seem to do better at their home race, and he was doing okay in practice, but it seems like I'm ahead of all the French drivers, to be honest, behind Lando, which is a shame for our rivalry. As it's due to be starting in the dry, everyone will get a fresh tyre choice, so maybe doing it on pure strategy isn't going to be enough. Might have to try something different here, but we'll have to wait and see how the race goes.
Hello and welcome to the Circuit Paul Ricard, current home of the French Grand Prix, an event dating all the way back to 1906. It's been held at many venues over the years, with famous moments from Dijon and Manicourt the feature of many a highlights reel. And let's hope we see more of those in the race today. 6 lefts and 9 rights give us a total of 15 corners here at the Circuit Paul Ricard, and a lap covers an overall distance of 3.6 miles. Average speeds will be somewhere in the region of 142 miles per hour, and they'll be maxing out on the Mistral Straight at around 205 miles per hour. Anthony Davidson is alongside me as usual for the race today. Can we talk about Mercedes? What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, with Sebastian Vettel starting alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Hamilton, Leclerc, Max Verstappen and Sainz, Albon, Perez, Norris and Lance Stroll, Raikkonen, the owner driver, Esteban Ocon and Magnussen, Grosjean, Ricciardo, Pierre Gasly and Antonio Giovinazzi, Kvyat, Russell, Boccolacci and Nicholas Latifi. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Time for the race then here at France. As you can see, it looks like beautiful sunshine at the moment. Unfortunately, it is not going to stay that way. There is the rain predicted at the end of the race. Going for a one-stop strategy, going to start on the hards, try and go quite long on them, then change towards the medium. So we should be pretty quick, and who knows, if the rain doesn't come until too late, might just be able to hold off on those slightly grippier tyres. Soft's not really useful around here. They do really get heated up a lot in the final sector, so burn up quite quickly. Being on these hard tyres might make it a bit more tough at the start of the race, but we'll have to see how it goes. Can we continue our run of points then that started way back in China? Have to wait and see. 27 laps of the French Grand Prix coming right up. Underway then for the French Grand Prix. Didn't get a good start whatsoever there on these harder tyres. Ocon has managed to get ahead. Gasly sending it out of nowhere. The French driver's having a very good start to this race, but I've managed to hold him off for now. Now we are faster during this first sector of the lap normally, so we'll have to see if I can maybe just force my way alongside one of these cars. We're trying to go all the way around the outside of Ocon. We might have done that, and we're also managing to get alongside Norris as well. But deciding that the best thing to do might just be to slot in behind, as he's actually very soaked through that part of the lap, nearly causing me to damage my front wing. And you can just see the momentum everyone else has got here. I'm going to be surrounded on the way down to the chicane. Ocon has the inside line, and there's not really a lot I can do about this. He's going to get a better exit through there and stays ahead for now. So we've actually lost a position here on lap 1. In the slipstream now, and out of the Renault, coming down to Signes. It's flat out in the dry. Even with these heavy fuel loads, you can take some different lines through this corner, but not close enough to do anything about it this time around. Having to hold on to that 13th position, so losing a position on the first lap. First time that has happened to us for a long time. Part of that was down to me just getting it wrong at the start, and let's not forget we are on harder tyres, it looks like, than the rest of the field. Almost everyone that I've seen has started on the mediums, and I'm starting on the hard tyres, so it'll all come to me hopefully at the end of the race and a bit of the way through this stint. But for now, just going to have to try and stay in touch with those ahead. 13th position at the moment. Got a pretty decent exit there out the final corner. Now Ocon has managed to get ahead of Norris, but just look, I can't really catch up. I'm going to have to go very late on the brakes here into turn 1 and can't get alongside the McLaren. So Ocon's got ahead of Norris, and it does look as though the McLaren hasn't got the same pace as the Renault. So this might give me an opportunity at some point just to get ahead of Norris. Let's not forget, he is our rival, so it's crucial that I beat him in this race. Just not able to get a good enough run onto the main straight. In fact, got a bit of wheel spin there, so that might leave me vulnerable to Gasly. I'm going to have DRS though, and I've got plenty of spare fuel to use to just blast me alongside this straight. So could do with Norris dropping back now from Esteban Ocon, now that the McLaren has been overtaken, because otherwise I think this could be a very long race for myself.
We're expecting rain in around 10 to 15 minutes.
That could be very interesting, seeing as I'm on the hard tyres. Rain in about 10 to 15 minutes. This could be about how long can I stretch these tyres for then. So this might have worked out absolutely brilliantly. Rain might be coming a lot earlier than we originally expected, because judging by what it said in the strategy window, I wasn't expecting rain until maybe 5-6 laps towards the end, but 10 to 15 minutes, I might not have pitted by then. So could it be worth me just stretching these hard tyres as long as I dare until the rain comes, but only managing to do a stop straight onto the intermediate tyres, because that could really transform our fortunes in this race. As you can see, still in 13th place, still not able to challenge Lando Norris. Lando starting to have to go very defensive into some of these corners, so I'm going to try sending one down the inside. Didn't really get it stopped cleanly enough, but I do think I've managed to get ahead. He's going to have a fantastic run though on me down this straight, because I've actually fell out of DRS range of Ocon, so giving it everything down the straight to see if I can defend from him, and I might be able to just hang on here. He's going to try and come at me. He's too busy dealing with Pierre Gasly trying to send one round the outside, which he's managed to do, so completely dive bombed Norris there, probably slowed us both down a lot more than would have been ideal.
Target is +1. Faster engine modes are available.
In the end though, have managed to now move up a position, up into 12th position, as Gasly thought about throwing one down the inside there. That could have ended in a huge accident for the pair of us. Thought I'd gone for a dive bomb on Norris. That was from absolutely nowhere from the AlphaTauri driver. Ocon's also managed to get ahead of Raikkonen as well, so lap 10 up into 12th place. I think we are now getting to the stage of this race where I've just got a bit more grip on some of these medium tyre runners. How long can I keep the hards on for? Can I keep them on long enough for them to last until the rain comes? You might notice that we've gone up into 10th place. That's not because of any pit stops. We've had 2 retirements from the race, Sergio Perez and Lewis Hamilton, both guys who I'd expect to finish well clear of me, as we are now seeing a few drivers come into the pits. I'm wondering, should I maybe come in a bit earlier than I was planning to and put the soft tyres on? We'll see what everyone else does.
You'll be on the mediums.
Looks like everyone else is coming out on a set of the hard tyres. I'm thinking, should I maybe pit a bit earlier, put the soft tyres on, and hope they last until the rain comes?
Dorian is coming
I don't think the hards will be able to. It's all about what's the best option for me now. Up into 6th position, thanks to a few pit stops, just trying to stay in contact with Ocon and some of those ahead of him. There we go then, we are coming into the pits, and I'm going to put the soft tyres on. If it doesn't end up raining within the next 5 or 6 laps, I could be in big trouble at the end of this race. It's worth a try to do something different, because this should enable to be able to get past quite a few of the cars ahead of me, and then hopefully we'll all have to come in for intermediate tyres. Not the quickest pit stop from the team, and I'm going to be dropped down in a queue of traffic.
Today. 1 stop left in our strategy.
We're way down the order then, 16, obviously because everyone else pitted earlier and is on fresher tyres than us, or was on fresher tyres than us. Now though, we've got the tyre advantage, so need to start doing some overtaking and hope that rain makes its way here soon. Wasn't really planning to go for an overtake there, I just had way more grip.
Looks like rain is inbound, and we're expecting it in around 5 minutes. 5 minutes till the rain.
There we go, now saying 5 minutes till the rain, so if I can make my way up this queue of cars ahead of me. They're all on 2-step harder tyres, so they're all on the hards, I'm on the softs, and none of them have really got much pace, but this isn't the easiest track to make an overtake on, as I try to send one up the inside of Romain Grosjean. Managed to stay alongside me for now, but I've got the extra grip on corner exit. These are the type of overtakes I'm going to have to make for the next 5 minutes or so to get myself back up into the points. You can see Raikkonen up ahead in what I believe is 8th position, so there's definitely a chance of points here, and it was actually Magnussen I got ahead of, not Grosjean, because I've just seen him up ahead. But let's just keep in contact with these guys. Hopefully the rain will come in the next 5 minutes, and hopefully by that time I manage to overtake most of these cars. That was pretty easy, just straight round the outside of Giovinazzi. I've just got so much more grip in the first and final sectors. I know I'm not quick in a straight line, so using DRS is actually probably going to make it more difficult for me because everyone else has got it as well. So I need to be imaginative again with my overtaking manoeuvres. As you've seen from me for most of this race, I've just got so much more traction though on exit than Esteban Ocon. I'm going to have to try and brake later than him though, because he is pulling away from me here. Just able to go round the outside of the Renault. See, we're already up into 12th position. It's getting very, very dark around here with 10 laps to go. Grosjean is my next target then. Then you've got Raikkonen at the head of the queue. Raikkonen, Gasly, Norris and Grosjean, the next cars I'm aiming to go for the overtake on. Let's see if I can get close enough to the Haas out of there. Overtake on DRS. Open. I think I'm just going to run out of straight line speed to really be able to go for a move unless I send it late on the brakes. A bit like the move on Norris earlier, wasn't the cleanest, had to skip over the curb, but it's worked. Managed to get up into 11th position. This strategy might just pay off and might be able to get me the top 8 finish. Right, I tried it round the outside last time. Let's see if I can dive one up the inside of Norris here into the chicane. Not really close enough, but going to get a much better exit there. We've seen me doing once into this chicane round the inside. Now I'm going for the outside. That gives me the inside for turn 4. There we go. We are up into the points here. See, Jeff has just said to me that we will be on softs at the next pit stop. Somehow with how dark it's getting, I don't think we will be, but I've got at least another couple of laps, seeing as it hasn't started raining yet, so I needed to stop being dull and for those clouds to actually start producing some water for this strategy to work. Otherwise I could be in trouble, but we are now into the points. Gasly, our next target. Gasly having to go very defensive here, so can I just do what I did to Ocon earlier on? Brake as late as I dare, get around the outside. There we go, we're now up into 9th position. Raikkonen, our next target, and he won't have DRS, so this might be a bit easier than it has been to pass some of these other guys. The rain just holding off for now, although I say that, I think I've just seen a few spots appear on the camera, so maybe we are getting to the point where the rain is starting to fall then. In a couple of laps we might have to come in for the intermediate tyres. Not really close enough to Raikkonen to have a go into the chicane, or am I? No, having to back off for now, so I'll have to think about somewhere else to get past the Alfa Romeo. We are up into 9th position though, where we were before all the pit stops started.
I think we're still on the right tyres for the time being.
Jeff saying he thinks we're still on the right tyres, so he's acknowledging that the rain is starting to come down. I think as soon as he tells me to get the intermediates on, I'm going to take his advice, but we've managed to get into 9th place, sorry. 8th place is our next target, and he is on harder tyres then also. We can even maybe get down the inside there where I wasn't expecting to. Hopefully that's not done any major damage to my car. The door just sort of opened there and understeered into him. This hasn't been the cleanest race for myself, overtake wise, I must admit that. Probably not surprising now given the weather conditions, but we are up into 8th. I reckon it's only another lap or two before we have to come in for intermediates.
We're boxing this lap, we're leading our teammate by 36.7 seconds.
Dorian has come into the pit, so I think he's putting the intermediates on.
Copy that.
That is what Jeff is telling me to do, so I'm also coming in this lap, getting those intermediate tyres on, getting rid of these softs. I could already tell through the first sector, it's becoming a lot more difficult on traction, but going for these softs has worked. It's allowed me to gain a place, get up into 8th position and really close the gap to some of those ahead. Now it's just about holding this on when we come into the pits. So little grip compared to what we had earlier on. Going for these soft tyres was a risk. I think in the end it's just about paid off. There we go, DRS disabled.
The tyre situation is pretty touch and go right now. We think the slicks may still be quicker, but it's very close, and you're going to struggle to keep them in the temperature window. The inters are ready when you need them.
I need them now, Jeff. Like you said, I'm struggling to keep them in the temperature window, these soft tyres, because as soon as you start getting cold on the dry tyres, you're in all heaps of trouble. So with 6 laps to go, everyone diving into the pits, putting on intermediate tyres, and a few drivers are having to stay out, obviously, because double stacking doesn't really work on this game, so that might help us ever so slightly.
Exit now. We're racing on the exit. Exit now.
Apparently we're going to be racing on the exit.
Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now.
You can just see the wheel spin I'm getting there already, so I think this is all about just staying safe and staying sensible now, holding on to what will be an 8th position. Four laps to go then, as you can see, 8th position now that everyone's made their stop, so nothing's really changed. Jeff has just got over the radio and said the track might start drying out soon, so be careful not to burn up your tyres. I don't think that's going to be a concern. You can see it's still raining. We've not got that long to go. We're keeping the gap fairly constant to Raikkonen behind, who, if anything, he's starting to get caught up by Pierre Gasly, so that could be interesting for him at the end of this race, but not really catching up to Stroll and Albon. Unsurprisingly, they're pulling away. I would expect them to be the quicker car around here, so it does look as though it's going to be a nice, safe run to 8th position, as long as I can avoid making any mistakes in the final 3 and a bit laps.
The gap behind us is 2.3 seconds.
Final lap then of the French Grand Prix. I think the rain has stopped now, so
there's only 1 lap of fuel remaining.
These intermediates, like Jeff said, might start getting a bit hot and bothered, so need to keep it nice and smooth. Should be a comfortable run then to 8th position. I've managed to just pull that gap ever so slightly back to Kimi Raikkonen. Bottas takes the win, and with Hamilton not finishing, that really will help him in the championship. Depends where the Ferraris finish, of course. We're just taking it nice and steady now. Slight lift through there that we didn't have earlier on, obviously, and it does look as though the track has pretty much dried out, so just being steady now. Don't want to lose it right at the last minute, because we've had a fairly good race here. Went for the hard tyres earlier on, which I think might have just about worked out. You can see that we have gained a few places. I think a lot of that was down to luck with retirements, otherwise we'd have only finished in 10th place. Never would have been able to challenge Hamilton, obviously, or Perez, but have managed to finish in 8th position. That's another 4 points for the team, and we're ahead of Norris as well, which will help with the rivalry.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Ferme.
Pierre Gasly managing to get, I think, maybe his first points of the season. Raikkonen as well, so that's a Gasly driver of the day.
A fantastic victory here at Paul Ricard. Tell me, Ant, how did they manage to achieve this win?
I think that...
So yeah, Mercedes will be absolutely delighted there. Bottas taking a victory. Something we've seen quite a lot on this game so far. Bottas winning. I think he'll be about 60 points ahead now or something in the championship, which obviously works out pretty well for him. We managed to pick up another 4 points as well, and I think with both Renaults definitely behind us. They're currently 4th in the championship, although I think it says they've now actually got the 8th or 9th best car, which is surprising to see. So we need to start improving our car. That is where we're weak. You can see in qualifying we haven't got that 1 lap place, and we'd have only just managed to get into points today if it wasn't for the rain at the end and us deciding to go for a different strategy. Those hard tyres managed to get them to last their full 15 laps. Changing onto the softs rather than the mediums gave us that extra bit of a boost, because you could see we had a lot of cars to overtake and only a short time to really make advantage of the tyre choice, and we just about managed to do that. Some of the moves might have been a bit questionable, but no major damage done, I don't think, to anyone.
So let's review the updated driver's standings. More points for Valtteri Bottas, further solidifying his lead at the top of the table. After an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
I'll probably go for Pierre Gasly. The team did a good job with the strategy to put him in amongst the pack, but it's the driver's job to capitalise on those opportunities, and he did so with a lot of skill.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. It was a tough race for our championship leaders who lose ground at the top of the table. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time? Be sure to join us again as we continue to bring you the latest excitement in Formula One.
So you can see in the Constructors' Championship we have actually lost a bit of ground to both McLaren and Racing Point. I'm not too disappointed about that. I did expect them to pull away as the season goes on. We jumped Ricciardo in the championship but fell behind Sainz, so ended up staying in 9th place, and you can see Hamilton has dropped a long way down. He's down to 4th now after that retirement, finishing in 8th then in the end. Dorian finished in 19th, so only ahead of Russell. He's really not enjoying this season whatsoever, and his contract is up for renewal. I'm not sure if it's after this race or after Austria, so maybe it might be time to start thinking about whether we want to keep him in the car for the rest of the season, or maybe give someone else a try.
Performance out there. I'm sure you're pretty happy with that. You were cutting your way through the field during the race. You're breaking all expectations. What's your secret?
I always like bumping the team up. I don't want to sound really cocky when I'm answering these questions.
Today, but do you feel this was an advantage for you?
Although I say that, I'm saying that the challenges conditions separate the class of the field.
Great. Well, that's everything.
Apparently the drivers, and I mentioned this earlier on, apparently the drivers do get a boost when it's their home race. I mean, we saw Verstappen, he's only won one race so far, and that was in Holland. Someone else I know who's been playing this game managed to get Sergio Perez to win in Mexico, so they must have got one hell of a boost around there. You can see the rivalry with Lando is now 11-7. I did much better than him in the race. Part of that was probably down to me slightly forcing him off track. You see, Dorian's nearly got to a claim level 7, so he'll get to that next time around. And a nice $640,000 bonus as we achieved all of our team objectives. I'm basically making no money in the race as I've knocked off too many front wings, so that's 4 million we've got ourselves. Now, very nice indeed. We might be able to spend some on upgrading the car, ready for the next race, round 11 of the championship, basically at the halfway point of this season, and we seem to be constantly in the bottom end of the top 10. We need to keep developing to make sure we stay there, or to possibly sneak a podium this season, because I think that would be fantastic. That was my target when we set off. Can we get a podium before the end of the season? That is it though for now. We do have to review a sponsor, but I'll probably just renew them automatically. So that is it for this video. Thank you so much guys for watching, and I will see you next time around for round 11 of the My Team series. It's the Austrian Grand Prix. Good night.